How Buhari's minister allegedly ordered Maina's recall. Contrary to earlier reports, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyo-Ita, did not play any part in the reinstatement of the ex-pension boss, Abdulrasheed Maina. A committee made up of top officials from the Ministry of Interior recommended Maina's reinstatement. PDP asks President Buhari to sack the Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Damazak, and the AGF Abubakar Malami over their alleged roles in reinstating the ex-pension boss. More details have emerged on how a former chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Pension Reform's task team, Abdulrasheed Maina, was reinstated in the civil service and made a director despite being on the run for alleged N2B scam. The Nation newspaper reports that the recall of Maina was facilitated by the Attorney General of the Federation and Justice Minister, Abubakar Malami. The newspaper stated that Abubakar Malami was the one who directed the Federal Civil Service Commission, FCSC, to reinstate Maina. It also learned that contrary to earlier reports, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyo-Ita, did not play any part in the reinstatement of the ex-pension boss. Rather, she had advised against Maina's recall, but she was overruled. It was said that a committee made up of top officials from the Ministry of Interior recommended Maina's reinstatement. The paper reported that the officials were members of the Senior Staff Committee, SSC, of the Ministry of Interior. The details of those who authorized Maina's return were contained in a letter of reinstatement sent to the wanted officer by the Federal Civil Service Commission, FCSC. The letter dated September 18, was also sent to the head of the Civil Service of the Federation by the Federal Civil Service Commission, FCSC. The letter, which was reportedly signed by Mustafa El-Suleiman for the FCSC chairman, indicated that the AGF advised the FCSC that Maina should be reinstated. The letter stated that, kindly refer to the Attorney General of the Federation / Honorable Minister of Justice letter Ref. 1/3 dated 27th of April 2017 requesting Federal Civil Service Commission, FCSC, to give consequential effect to the judgment that voided the warrant of arrest issued against A. Maina, which formed the basis for the query and his eventual dismissal. Further to the aforementioned letter, the Federal Civil Service Commission, FCSC, at its meeting held on 14th of June, 2017 deliberated on the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF's, letter and requested the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, UXF, vide letter FC. 4029/82/Volume 3/160 of 21st of June 2017 to advise the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior to consider the AGF's letter, the officer's case and make appropriate recommendation to the Commission. The UXF accordingly advised the Ministry of Interior to consider the matter. The Ministry of Interior at its Senior Staff Committee, SSCS meeting held on 22nd of June, 2017 considered the disciplinary case against the officer and the letter by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice seeking the reinstatement of the officer as a Director, Administration, SGL. 17 in the Federal Civil Service. The Ministry of Interior's Senior Staff Committee, SSC, deliberated on the case and recommended that Mr. Maina be reinstated into the service as Deputy Director, SGL. The Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, UXF, vide letter Ref. HCSF/Lu/Core/FCSC/749/3/135 dated 14th of August 2017 forwarded the recommendations of the Senior Staff Committee, SSC, of the Ministry of Interior to the FCSC for further necessary action. The FCSC at its meeting held on Wednesday, 16th of August, 2017 considered the letter from the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and the recommendations of the Senior Staff Committee, SSC, of the Ministry of Interior on the disciplinary case against Alhaji Abdulrasheed Maina, Deputy Director, Administration, Salary Grade Level 16. The FCSC, thereafter, approved the reinstatement of the officer into the service with effect from 21st of February, 2013 being the date he was earlier dismissed from service. The FCSC also approved for the officer to sit for the next promotion examination to the post of Director, Administration, SGL. 17. Speaking on how Maina was reinstated, some top government sources said the AGF, Federal Civil Service Commission, FCSC, and the officials of the Ministry of Interior facilitated the recall of the ex-pension boss. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation insisted that the reinstatement of Maina was absurd and illegal. She did not play any role in the entire process which led to the recall of the dismissed officer. In fact, she refused to add a sentence or a line to a memo routed through her office to the so-called Senior Staff Committee, SSC, of the Ministry of Interior. It is not within the mandate of the SSC to determine a grievous disciplinary case involving Maina, one official stated. Another official said, when some forces were determined to bring Maina back, the head of the civil service took precautionary measures and warned that the process will fail. Instead, what the FCSC did was to compel the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation to forward the recommendations of the Senior Staff Committee, SSC, of the Ministry of Interior to it for further necessary action. All the documents are intact and they will be presented to President Muhammadu Buhari. I am sure more heads will roll. All the SSC members have no business being in office again. Copy of the letter that recalled Maina, photo credit. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to sack the Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Damazak, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami over their alleged roles in reinstating Abdulrasheed Maina as Director in the Ministry of Interior. Daily Trust reports that the party in a statement Monday, October 23, by its National Publicity Secretary, Prince Oyo-Ita also demanded Maina's immediate arrest and prosecution. NAJ.com gathered that the PDP said the APC-led government should always do what is right by exposing the corrupt elements in government and making them to face the wrath of the law.